9:19 on Wednesday morning. Our guests are Condredge, Holloway, and Kenny Chesney. The Color Orange, the documentary, will be aired on ESPN Sunday night at 8 o'clock. It's all part of their Year of the Quarterback in 2011. And both Condredge and Kenny joined us in studio. We talked about the recruiting process and Bear Bryant telling you, being honest with you and stuff like that. Ray Trail was the one that recruited you, and y'all developed a pretty close relationship, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
There was a part in the documentary that when you had a meeting with the Montreal Expos, you were their first round pick, 4th pick overall. You wanted Ray Trail there.
Yeah.
When you met with it, why was that?
Well, when you're face to face with your competition, you have a tendency not to lie. I mean, you can't, because they can call you out.
Right.
So you get both people in the same room, and you tell the truth. And I don't know, maybe I was naive to think that would happen, but what I did find out that one side wanted to play. We wanted to accuse people of stuff they didn't do, and it was so close for me. That kind of made my decision up. So, I mean, you're accusing somebody of doing something they didn't do. What would you do if I was in that situation and I'm under your wing? So I'm going to go with the other guy.
What's interesting to me is you were recruited in basketball, you were recruited in baseball, obviously in football. How many of your recruiters do you think were deceptive back then and just trying to butter you up and get you to go? And how many do you think were genuine when you asked questions in their answers?
Most of them. I'd say, because in the football world, they're all telling you the same thing. In the basketball world, they were all telling you the same thing. The difference with this one was a baseball guy talking with a football guy. O'Reilly was professional in college. That was the big deal. He was trying to make the point that I can give you the money above the table, they're going to have to give it to you under the table.
Assuming that Tennessee was doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that just it crawled all over me. So
back then it wasn't true. We're not saying anything about 2010.
All I'm telling you is tickets, you got 4 tickets and you could buy 4 more, and scalping was legal.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
thank you, Lord.
Scalping was legal. I like that.
You got to be creative, baby.
The other really interesting thing about the recruiting section to me was a happening with Coach Trail was at your home, and of course it was a time when the University of Alabama and the state of Alabama was going through some turmoil, obviously racially, and George Wallace was the governor of Alabama, and you got an interesting phone call, which I thought, after the statements that had been made not too soon before that, had to be kind of ironic to you.
Yeah, it was interesting. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, everybody has to watch.
That's true.
And there's nothing I want to elaborate on.
Yeah, okay.
So I want to ask you, the first week you were on campus, away from home, and you come to Tennessee. You had a swagger about you. I mean, you were confident. I'm not going to say, I'm going to say a little bit on the cocky side. You were confident in your athletic ability, and that came across on the football field. But take us back to that first week you were on campus. Were you scared? Were you excited? What were the emotions then that first week?
You've never seen that many girls in his life?
I was about to say, yeah. Huntsville is smaller than Knoxville, right?
No.
No.
We got Marshall Space Flight Center and NASA.
That's right.
I just come from Liberal, Kansas, playing baseball all summer by myself. Coming to Knoxville wasn't a big deal. I mean, I was there in the summer when all the players were there, of course, and they took me under their wing, and it was normal. It wasn't anything different. I guess if I'd come when school started and we had to go to class, we were in summer school, so you only had one class.
Yeah. And
we stayed in the dorm, which was good. Now, coming to school now and not being in the dorm and all the stuff they go through, that is scary. But my transition was good. It wasn't, I mean, it was a lot better than being in Liberal, Kansas by yourself. I was the only black face in Liberal, Kansas.
how long did it take you to figure out that if you were good enough, you were going to play quarterback right away at the University of Tennessee?
Well,
You weren't eligible as a freshman, correct?
no, freshman couldn't play. That was.
But did you know anytime your freshman year, next year, this is mine. Next year, I got it.
See, I don't know. I was just taught you don't think ahead like that, especially in sports, because if you're not thinking about the moment and making it correct, then you usually don't succeed. That's what I think I hear too many of the young kids now talk about next year and 4 years from now. You better make it today in this moment, or you might not get that chance, Wally Pitt. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
So I never thought about that. I knew one thing, that one carrot that Coach Battle did throw out at me. He said, as soon as you establish yourself on the football team, you can play baseball. So that was I was in a hurry to do that.
So that gave you a little extra incentive.
Of course, you get out of spring practice.
Exactly, and you're playing games, right?
Baseball's
You're
a lot
missing
more
both-
fun. Yeah, baseball's a.
Hey,
Well, you're missing both the training seasons. You're just getting to play games all the time. That's fabulous. But you talk about the difference when you played it and players now. How different is it to know your freshman year you're not really going to be part of the team, so to speak, and you got to wait that year to make the varsity level team, to how it is now, where, I mean, do you wish you could have played as a freshman? And do you think, I mean, Coach Fuller made the statement yesterday, they could have won a national championship with you your freshman year.
I think freshman teams are essential. It gives you a chance to get totally adapted. It gives you a chance to earn your way, and it gets rid of all this the speculation of, well, he's a cocky player, you know, he's a young high school player. You have to earn your way on that freshman team first, and then once you do that, they give you a free shot at making the varsity just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, everybody wants to speed things up, and it's not going to happen. But I was happy that after my year, they changed the rule that freshmen could play, because I got Stanley Morgan. So, there's both sides of that.
Kenny, you are self-professed biggest fan of this guy. What's your recollection of the first time you became aware of Condredge
I
Holloway?
was 6, and I remember it. I remember my grandfather, I remember my father, and I remember watching. Not every game was on television then, you know, and we didn't have ESPN. We didn't have, you know, all the outlets that we have. But I remember every Sunday we would have the Bill Battle show, and they'd replay the game, and they would sit with the coach and go over every play. And that's where I first remember seeing Condredge on television. And I remember getting out in the backyard and having an orange number 7 jersey, and I would try to tear it just like his, the tearaway jerseys that they had, you know. And we'd play a game called Pick Up and Smear, and I get smeared all the time because I couldn't move like Condredge. But that's where it started, you know. And like those guys, like he mentioned Stanley Morgan, you know, as a kid, not having any kind of pro allegiance in this part of the country, Tennessee football, as it is now, was it. That's what we revolved our life around. And so that's where my heroes were formed. That's where they were started. And Condredge was one of those guys, you know, along with Larry Severs that's in the film, and Stanley Morgan and Haskell Stanback, and it just goes on and on and on and on.
Who's going to have more fun tonight, you or Condredge?
That's going to be me. Condredge's got family here. It's
fun, but
I'm going to have goosebumps seeing all these people.
When they asked me the other day, you know, we had to answer these 5 questions, and they asked him which sports guy he would like to be if he could be that for a day, and asked me which musical guy. And when I pointed to him, she looked at me, oh, you're just saying that. I said, whoa. I've rode with this guy for one day. I'm at the airport. Q said, I'll pick you up at the airport. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to go to the airport. He's coming by in the car. We're going to go. He rolls up in his plane. I said, well, I'm rolling with him. That's who I want to be. No doubt.
Right here.
Kenny, what was it about Condredge that just drew you to him being a child? What was it in your eyes? Because I remember me as a child, I loved Emmitt Smith. That played for the Dallas Cowboys. That was just my idol. Loved him.
It was just something you can't put a finger on. You can't describe it. I mean, it was just his charisma. It was the way he played the game. And I think that, I don't think any of us hadn't seen anybody play like he did, I don't think, since. And he was the Michael Vick of his generation. Nobody played like that. You watch all that footage we have in the film, and it's just unbelievable the athletic ability Condredge had. You forget until you see that stuff.
Oh, I know.
There's a famous John Ward play-by-play clip says, you can't describe it. You simply can't describe it.
I love it. He goes, back up 6
and give it to Holloway.
Give it to Holloway.
Yeah.
Hey, who gave you the nickname the Artful Dodger? Do you know?
I don't know, but that's not.
Don't
Yeah,
say
it's
that's not
great-
true.
Oh no, it's true, but I would have much rather had a name. What do they call Peyton? what do they call Peyton? He stood back there and get hit and down. See, I'm getting hip replacement next Tuesday. Thank you, Artful Dodger. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And was it easier to dodge them with the tearaway jerseys?
Yeah, it sure was.
Was Pat Ryan the best backup quarterback yet?
Pat's my friend. By the way, Pat, it's 6 o'clock tonight
Is he back up?
at the Tennessee Theater. Yeah.
Yeah, he just had shoulder
There's going to be
surgery.
a lot of Tennessee people there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. It's going to be a lot of. So that's your question. My buddies, my dad, everybody that's we're looking
It's
so
gonna be a
forward to
fun
this.
night.
I mean,
It's gonna be a fun night.
to
I'm
have-
gonna learn how to operate on the orange carpet, and maybe I'll get a chance to go to the red carpet one of these days.
the orange carpet's going to be a lot more.
Is
fun.
that going to be fun? Okay. I don't know how do you do that? What
You ask Heather, she'll be there.
Heather, you-
Heather will be on it. Just follow Heather. Oh yeah, she is.
You guys out.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay, I got you.
I'll be like, he can only pose for one picture, please. One picture, please.
Okay.
I'll help you be your PR person.
There we
When
go.
they started talking to me, I said, you want Heather on the orange
Hey, the
carpet,
orange
not
carpet's gonna be
me.
a lot more fun for me because I get to talk about something that I'm really incredibly passionate about. It's Condredge and sports. That's why we're there tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be to see all his friends come and everybody played with and
My
all
daughter's
the past
here.
coaches. His daughter.
Is she?
Yeah.
Wow.
All his family.
Get ready, Jay.
Oh, I want to meet. Can I have my picture made with her? I don't care about
Wow.
you.
You got to take a line. You got to take a number.
She'll be about 6 foot.
She is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
She really is, and is in the movie as well.
Wake up, honey. We're talking about you.
Condredge, I heard you say that one thing that bothered you in your career with UT was the fact that you lost 3 times to Alabama. But I also heard you when you say it, you said that we lost 3 times to Alabama with my help.
Yeah.
Does that still bother you after all of these years? Do you still look at it that way, like you contributed to losing those football games?
Let's see. We played 58 minutes of great football. They score to tie it and go for the extra point to tie it. And I fumbled and they scored. Yeah, I do. And that's just fact. I don't sit at home and have stomach pain about it. But, if I honestly, I talk to people about it and I honestly give an honest answer, I can try to say, oh, it doesn't bother me. Before I can get that out, I'm going, yes, it does.
Do you think it's kind of the same where it bothers Peyton Manning that he never beat Florida? Is it kind of along those same lines?
I don't know. I think it.
Well, Alabama at the time was,
Yeah.
was the premier
Yeah,
football
they were the
team.
big
in
dogs.
the whole
But for Peyton, you're right. Florida
Florida was,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, Florida was too.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peyton would have to answer that, but I don't know. See, I being from Alabama is what I had to go home and listen to all the time, and there's always somebody that I get the. You're the guy that fumbled against Alabama, weren't you? And I own it. I own that. That's me. Yes, I am.
Really?
Yeah. And I always answer with, and I'm also the guy that had a number for Tennessee. What was your number at Alabama?
Fabulous comeback.
That's great. We'll go to break on that. Condredge, Holloway, and Kenny Chesney in studio. It's 9:34. More in a moment. Doc, Jeff, and Heather in the morning on the Sports Animal.